Hey there, guys. Hope you are enjoying your time in the auditorium. Well, I am totally going to be enjoying my time giving the NISA exam. The past couple of days, we've been looking at realism, so I did want to go ahead and finish that up with you. We talked about one of the core components of realism is looking at this idea of power and making sure that you keep it. I do want to make sure that we spend a little time talking about some more specific things relating to power. First of all, there's two categories of power. We've got hard power and soft power. So hard power are the things that are tangible. We can touch them, we can use them. So when we talk about hard power, we are talking about military, we are talking like actual military strength in numbers. We are talking about tanks, aircraft, submarines, all of those technology, weapons, physical territory. Okay, so your hard power is typically the things that you can touch. Money is considered a hard power because you can use money then to acquire all of these other tangible items. Okay, soft power is more, it's intangible. It's more about relationships. It's about reputation, right? It is a tool to access or get hard power. So if you look over here on the right, we can kind of code some of these things, right? So military capability is hard power. Size of the economy, because you can use money, right? It is transferable to get other things. It's considered a hard power. If we're talking about population, the physical people and the numbers of people, that is a hard power. If we are talking about the knowledge and the skills of that population, then that is a soft power, okay? When we look at geography, that's a hard power. Internal cohesion, how the people within the country get along with one another, is a soft power, right? It's not tangible. Patriotism fits in that same category, okay? Natural resources is going to be your hard power. Reputation and credibility is soft. Education is soft. Alliances are soft. Physical territory, much links just like that with geography, that's a hard power. Political culture, again, it's about the beliefs of the citizens, so that would be a soft power. And then science and technology. If you were talking about the actual things of science and technology, then that would be a hard power. If you were talking about the intellectual processes and capabilities to develop that type of thing, then that would be a soft power. Again, so hard power is tangible, soft power is intangible, but both are very, very important, okay? It's also important to note that power is relative, right? So you can't look at a country by itself and say, oh my goodness, this country is so powerful because it has 50 tanks and 100 aircraft and its GDP is blah, 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 right? You have to do a comparison, right? So you have to look at what does country A have compared to country B, right? Because if they have about the same stuff, yeah, they've got power, but is one any more powerful than the other? So again, you can't look at countries, right, as little independent individual units or bubbles because they don't live in a bubble. You have to look at what they've got compared to what somebody else has got. Okay. Again, right, we think of power, right, as a capability. You have the power, and the power can then determine what you do with it. Again, just because a country has the capability doesn't mean that they're going to actually have to use it, right? Because sometimes just having that ability acts as a deterrent to keep other people from messing with them. It's like, oh, they have all that stuff. Yeah, we're not going to go there because we know we don't. All right, so again, things that you can look up when you talk about power as a capability, you can look at that GDP. It's the best indicator because the money and the economy is going to determine all of the access to other the hard power items that you can get. Additionally, right, if you can loan or provide financial resources to another country, that's soft power because you're building a relationship, alliances, right? But if you don't have a strong GDP, you can't do that, okay? Again, looking at a leader's ability to use that power, right? Because a country might have all kinds of stuff, but if it has an ineffective leader, it doesn't matter what stuff they have because the leader can't put that to use. Okay, and then I have this thing, the power of ideas. The power of ideas is without a doubt a soft power. Okay, using that psychology to maximize the capability, right? So you've got the hard power, but it is the psychological component or the soft power that allows you to effectively use that hard power. Okay, so again, and it's the idea that within the international system, all of these states as independent actors are doing their best to create a balance of power that is in their favor. Okay, all right. Last little thing here that I'm going to talk about is hegemonic stability theory. And there is the idea that this is completely incorrect, but there is an argument that looks at the polarity of the international system. So polarity addresses how many centers of power there are within a particular system. Pure realism is going to argue that a unipower system with one unipolar, one lead power is what maintains stability. So you need one country that is more powerful than any other country, because that country's power, right, serves as a way to modify or control the behaviors of other countries, right? So having one world superpower serves the purpose of a government, right? The United States is currently the world hegemon, the unipolar system. We are in power. However, if we look at other systems, right, if we look at the Cold War, we had the bipolar system between the USSR and the United States. We kind of had this multipolar system happening at the beginning of World War I and World War II, and we saw how those turned out. Okay, but having that one world power can reduce anarchy, again, according to the perspective, deter aggression, promote free trade, right, hard currency. So we're going to look at the value of this country and compare it to everything else, and they can help resolve and reduce conflict, right? If you think about the role of the United States in the world, you can use that as an example. I am going to tell you, right, that there are theorists that argue that this stability of the unipolar world is an illusion, and that's not accurate. And having one powerful country does not make things any more stable than having multiple power centers. I'm going to leave that up to you to determine in that regard. With that, we are done realism. So what you guys need to do now is to go in and answer the rest of the questions that are in Schoology dealing with realism. And if you want, you can go ahead and start reading Perpetual Peace by Immanuel Kant that introduces the idea of not economic, but political liberalism. I will see you guys in class in a couple more days.